Welcome to our second week in Istanbul.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie, this is Chris, and we're 388 days.
This morning we are taking the Istanbul tram from the Karakoy station near our Airbnb to the Sultanahmet station, where we plan to visit the Ayasofya Mosque. The Hagia Sofia, or Ayasofya in Turkish. It translates to Holy Wisdom in ancient Greek. Ayasofya was originally built in the 4th century. However, the building we see today was constructed after a riot resulted in a fire that destroyed the building in 532 AD. A few days after the riots, Emperor Justinian I inaugurated construction of a new basilica, which was completed within 5 years. That is the building we see today. For nearly 1,000 years, it was the largest cathedral in the world until the cathedral in Seville was completed in 1520. In 1453, the Ottoman Empire conquered Constantinople and converted the church into the primary mosque of Istanbul.
So we just came out of the Ayasofya. So amazing and beautiful inside. I think it's the oldest building we've ever been in.
It's quite old and quite spectacular. Very difficult, I think, to capture on video.
Yeah.
But we did our best. Next up, we are heading over to the Grand Bazaar. We're just about to enter the Grand Bazaar. 61 covered streets, 4,000 shops, and over 91 million visitors per year. So the Grand Bazaar was kind of interesting. We don't really need anything that they're selling there.
It kind of goes against the slow travel if you start collecting things.
Yeah, but it was interesting to walk through. We probably spent about 15-20 minutes walking through there. So now we're heading over to the Spice Bazaar, which is the center of spice trade in Istanbul. It was built in 1660 with revenues from the Egyptian Administrative Division, which I guess is basically like a state of the Ottoman Empire. Today, the bazaar hosts 85 shops, so we're going to take a quick peek in there and see if it's interesting.
So we just went through the Spice Bazaar, and I think it was a little bit more interesting, at least for me, than the Grand Bazaar. Maybe just because I miss my spice cabinet at home, I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's actually kind of small and manageable, so you don't feel so overwhelmed with 61 different streets that you have to go up and down. I enjoyed it.
I do too. So we were walking down by the docks and ferry terminals and decided just to jump on one and see where it takes us. I think this is going to Kadıköy, but we'll see.
So kind of cool. We just passed Turkey's newest and largest naval ship, the TCG Anatolian. It's made to carry a large number of drones and other type of military aircraft. So it's kind of cool. It's been a big deal here, and they just opened it today, April 17th. For journalists, and then it's going to be open to the public for another week or so, right in the Istanbul harbor areas. So kind of lucky that we got to see this. So we just made it off the ferry and we're now on the Asian side of Istanbul. We have no real plans, so we're just going to walk around and see what happens. So we have just been walking around a little bit over here in Kadıköy and just love the vibe. Really relaxed, much more so than the European side. Not a lot of tourists, just really kind of cool. I agree. Definitely more relaxed, more real people just going about their daily lives and business. We're coming back again, definitely. Yeah. No, here come the beers. Yeah. Excellent. Teşekkürler. All right. That's a lot of beer. It is. And now it's time for a beer. Cheers. So we're now heading back from the Asian side of Istanbul, and we definitely like the vibe over here. Fewer tourists, and seems like there's maybe some more manageable restaurants, not as chaotic. So we're gonna head back on another day and probably have some lunch, maybe do a little bit of shopping as well. So we enjoyed ourselves so much yesterday on the Asian side of Istanbul that we just decided, hey, let's head over again. We have a rough plan and we're gonna spend the day over there. A little bit cooler than yesterday, and as you can see, quite a bit foggier. So we're on the Bosphorus now, and you could see there are some very, very large tankers that are crossing through this area. Kind of cool. In the distance, you could see the Topkapi Palace and the Ayasofya, and also the Sultanahmet or Blue Mosque. Kind of a cool view from out here on the Bosphorus. So we had this wonderful plan to visit a special Tuesday market that was on the Asian side, and Stephanie had it all checked out and mapped out. Well, we took a walk over, it wasn't there. Rather than show you absolutely nothing, we're heading over for lunch at a place that is supposedly a really great seafood restaurant. They don't have a menu, they just have a bunch of fish, and the owner pointed out everything, explained it to us, so now we're waiting for our delicious lunch.
It's really good.
So we have two fish dishes, and we're not exactly sure what either of them are, but they're very, very tender, and they taste delicious. They taste like they look.
So much.
The char on the fish is just so good, so perfect. Love it. This is a roast pumpkin dessert, and I'm gonna have Stephanie try it.
You can't have any.
No, they still have not all of them, but they are famous still in the market. Where are you from? From Asia.
Yeah, it's kind of like candied yams.
Interesting story.
Nice. Not too sweet.
So look how much each there was before.
Good.
So that was, I think, by far the best meal we've had in Istanbul since we've been here. My belly is very, very happy.
We did find out that that sort of sizzling pot was scorpion fish. Yeah, it's that scorpion fish, the one that you're thinking of that's venomous. Who would have thought? So delicious and meaty, just like one of the best fish dishes I've had in a very, very long time. All right, next up we are going to catch a bus to Baghdad Street, which is known, I guess, as the Champs-Élysées of Istanbul. It's a 6-kilometer stretch of road, and I guess there are lots of shops. To do that, we got to catch a bus. All right, now we just need to figure out which bus to take. We're in the very front seat. Got a great view. Sort of made it midway. We're off the bus now. We've got to do a little bit of walking, but we decided to stop along this little promenade because we can see the Prince's Islands, and we thought we would do a quick video shot of the islands so you all can see the islands. And we have some cat houses. So now we are walking down Baghdad Street. This is basically a very famous, very long shopping corridor that is supposed to be quite fun and exciting. So we're just gonna see how many kilometers we can walk. All right, so our plans are a bit foiled. It started raining about 2 hours before we expected it to start raining, which I think is kind of Istanbul weather. Should prepare for the unexpected, which I will say I'm guilty of not doing. I didn't bring a hat or a jacket or an umbrella, and I have all of the above. So we're now going to try to catch a bus back to the ferry terminal and then grab a ferry back to the European side of Istanbul. So after a very crowded bus ride, we are now at the ferry terminal, and we're going to try to get on a ferry back to Karakoy, where we started. Hopefully not get too wet. Right, we just climbed a very, very steep hill back up to our Airbnb.
A very steep hill.
I think that we're going to call it a day.
Yeah.
The next day, we decided to visit the Topkapi Palace, which served as the administrative center of the Ottoman Empire from 1460 to 1856, and was the primary residence of its sultans. The grounds were beautiful and meticulously maintained. There are several inner courtyards and an exterior garden that we enjoyed exploring. Unfortunately, the palace interior was packed full of tourists, which impacted our experience and enjoyment a bit more than we would have liked. We each paid 650 Turkish lira, which we felt was a bit pricey for the experience. After walking through the gardens, we decided to return to our Airbnb for a home-cooked meal and then plan to go out for some street food for dinner.
So we've come to a street in Karakoy that has a bunch of restaurants, and we've come to a specific place for a dish called, I think it's pronounced Tantuni. It's southern Turkey specialty, and it's julienne chopped beef that is boiled, and then it's mixed in with onions and tomatoes and peppers and seasoned, and then it's wrapped in like a falafel wrap. This is supposedly one of the best places in Istanbul for this dish. I don't know, but that's what we read, so we've come here to try it out.
That's pretty tasty. Subtle, but good. I think that's a good quick bite.
Nice, it's spicy. This is a fairly small serving size, so it's going to be nice for us because we're going to have a little bit of dessert after this, but very good. I'm enjoying it. So I had an issue. We went to this place that does two things. They do tantuni and kunefe. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a dessert pastry cheese thing with like syrup on it. It's amazing. It's like one of our favorite desserts. And apparently their oven blew up. So we had the Tantuni.
Which was actually really, really good.
Yes, it was really good. But their oven blew up. So we're going to go find something else for dessert.
So we got some Salep to try. I think that's how you say it. It's a drink made out of, I think, ground orchid roots or some kind of ground root. And we got the works, I guess. They put it in a cup, put a bunch of cinnamon on it, some ground pistachios, ground walnuts, ground hazelnuts. It's pretty warm, so we're going to give it a minute to cool and then try it, but it smells fantastic.
All right, I'm going to give this a try. It smells really good. Oh, very hot, but it's very creamy. Almost tastes like rice pudding a little bit. The nuts add a lot of texture. Really good, but very hot. All right, so we're coming now to get some baklava at apparently the best baklava place in Istanbul, recommended to us. So we just picked some up actually, and we're going to take it back and try it.
Have some tea.
All right, here's our baklava from the best baklava place in Istanbul. So now we will begin the unboxing. And I have no idea what we bought, except that the little green things are pistachios. Let's give it a try. So just a note here, when we were in Izmir, we were buying baklava from this little street place at 80 Turkish lira per kilogram. In Istanbul, it's like 4 times the price. Still not super expensive when you're comparing US dollars, but it's about 4 times the price. So here are the 2 baklava that we are going to try.
It's nice. This little circular one, we called it the sushi roll one because we don't know actually what it's called. It's really nice. It's different than what we had in Izmir, so we can't really compare that. So we'll try that with we'll compare with some of the other ones we have. And then we have this shell looking one. We'll give that a try too. It's really good. Chris will like it.
Okay, I am going to now sample the baklava. Now, is this 4 times better than what we had in Izmir? Start with the sushi roll. Now, the shell. It's not bad, but it's not as good as what we had in Izmir. Final thoughts. The baklava is good. Definitely going to eat it. It's more expensive than we got in Izmir, but I think we actually found a really good place that was very, very inexpensive. And that was just sort of the luck of the draw. Would we recommend going there? Yeah, if you're in the area, definitely would recommend visiting this place. Wasn't super inexpensive, but it also didn't break the bank. Good morning from sunny Istanbul. It's been a bit rainy and cloudy the last couple of days, but today it's nice and sunny again, so we decided to go out to GalaPort, which is an upscale shopping center / waterfront promenade, and also home to the Istanbul Modern, which is their Museum of Modern Art. So as you can see, the GalaPort shopping area is very upscale. A lot of fancy shops. Kind of nice to walk around, and they have bathrooms. And this is how you know that you're at a fancy place. Quick wardrobe change, since we are now outside. We're about to start walking along the promenade, which goes for quite a distance, and right past the Istanbul Modern. So I'm reading that this clock tower was built by Sultan Abdul Majid in 1839. It's been recently restored. So we did figure out who built this mosque. I cannot pronounce his name. However, we will put it up on the screen. It was built in 1825.
Yeah, it was built in 1825, and from the outside, it's one of the most beautiful mosques we've seen in the city. Don't you think?
I agree. It's really pretty. All right, we're starting to get hungry, so it's off to get some food. So we've been eating out a lot this month, which is taking its toll on our eating out budget. So we're gonna try to go to a kind of a cost-effective little lunch place to get some fish wraps, which look really good. We found a place the other day with about 30 people or so lined up for the evening dinner, and it smelled really, really good. All right, so we're just about to try these fish wraps. They look so good. You can see it's sort of char grilled on the side with seasoning and lots of produce inside. Oh my God, so good. Wow, that's gonna be really good.
Our little friend wants some too.
Oh, yes. What do you think?
So delicious. Lots of flavor. I think there's even like a little pomegranate molasses on it or something.
Yeah.
Really good, no bones, perfectly grilled. I think we need to come back here. So lunch was really, really fantastic. So many different flavors. And as they were grilling it, they were taking the bones out too, which is a really nice plus.
Yeah, so good. Oh my gosh, I totally want to go back there for dinner.
Yeah.
So we learned there is a service here that's relatively new. It's a 24/7 water taxi service that you can call via an app. And it's actually kind of expensive, so we haven't done it, but looks like that's one of the taxis. So we've just been walking down the street and we stumbled upon the Dolmabahçe Palace, which I'm sure I pronounced that incorrectly. It was the last palace used by the Ottoman Empire prior to the founding of the Turkish Republic. And from what we read, Ataturk actually lived in this palace for about 4 years until he lived somewhere else. Also, it's very crowded today, and there's a really, really long queue to get in, so we're not gonna go in, but it's kind of cool. We might come back. So we're just kind of following the crowds because it seems like people know where they're going or there's somewhere to go. And now we have ended up at the Museum of Painting. I don't know that we're going to go inside, but the kind of outer courtyard area is pretty nice, so we're just strolling through that, seeing maybe we can get a coffee or a tea or something. So the Museum of Painting was part of the Dolmabahçe Palace. It was one of the Sultan's private residences, so it's pretty nice. And now, time for a little sitting break.
A little sitting break, yeah.
Our feet are tired, so we are going to see if we can catch a ferry back closer to where we're staying. We'll see how well this works. Yeah, it's very crowded. We're in luck. We found a ferry that's going back to where we live, or I should say, near our Airbnb.
Very crowded.
So crowded. That was an incredibly packed ferry ride. It is so busy out here. Look at that ferry over there. How many people are on it? Look at this ferry here, how full it is. So we're just now climbing the very steep hill back up to our Airbnb. All right, so we just climbed the hill back at the Airbnb, and I think that is going to be a wrap for week 2 in Istanbul.
Thanks for joining us in Istanbul this week. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.